Well, hello everyone. My name is Shanita and I'm the founder of Future Focused Coaching and Wellness. And today I am excited to join in the celebration for National Recovery Month. And I just thought I would take a little time to share with you all why I feel that sound and energy healing have a rightful place in recovery, in treatment, in whatever way that helping you to live a more stress less life, a more joy filled life. I know and believe in my heart of hearts that sound and energy healing is an important and integral step into helping you achieve that. So kudos to everybody that's in recovery, that is enjoying life and is allowing themselves to just be their brightest and truest self. So without further ado, I want to share with you this presentation that I have for you called Closing the Gap in Recovery. Now, my goal for us today is to show you just how sound and energy therapies can help you live a more balanced and fruitful life. So, I'm going to pull up the presentation here. Yes, so how sound and energy healing support the journey. Now, I am a sound and energy practitioner based in Anderson, South Carolina, but I travel to other places to help train therapists, to help give presentations and workshops, and also I work privately with clients in helping to bring them into better balance. So let's get started with the presentation, shall we? So I want to start by sharing with you all just how I became acquainted with sound and energy work. So for many of us, this was back when I was still working as a therapist. I'm retired now, but there were many nights where I was not able to sleep well. My rest was disturbed. I was really stressed. I was holding in a lot of the stories that my clients were sharing, and I was just experiencing vicarious or secondhand trauma. And despite having all the skills and tools, I needed a safe place to put that energy. So I saw an advertisement for sound healing and I said, I want to try it. And I did. And for 45 minutes, I was able to release much, or I'll say 95% of the stress that was being stored within my body. And so it was such a transformative and powerful session that it got my mind to thinking, if this can happen in one 45-minute session, what can happen or what can I do to maintain this over a long-term period? So I began down the rabbit hole of research and wanted to find out, is this new age? Has this always been around? What am I dealing with here? And I was happy to find that sound healing and energy healing have been around for thousands of years. We are just now beginning to catch up to that intelligence and see the real world benefits of that. So my studies and my research led me to see how sound has ancient roots, but now it's beginning to have modern applications in our fast-paced, busy world. So let's take a trip around the world back in time so I can better show you how that is so. So in ancient Kemet, or Egypt as we know it, they were great at using tuning forks for energetic balance. They would use the tuning forks over the body to bring the body's biofield back into harmonic resonance. Now let's go off to ancient Greece, where we see that Pythagoras developed the harmonic resonance that is used today. So basically it's meaning that he used the perfect fits in a 3-to-2 ratio to help the body naturally get back to its natural resonance. Now, off in Tibet and Asia, in those countries, we see where the ritualized use of singing bowls or resting bowls, gongs, and deep throat mantras were used to clear energetic pathways. This helps us to elevate consciousness as an individual and collectively as a community. We see in indigenous cultures the ceremonial use of drums and rhythms while chanting, and it helps to better restore and connect us back not only to ourselves, but to each other as a community and to nature as a whole. Now, this next one I am really excited to share with you all because I want to share with you just how in ancient sacred literature, like for example the Bible, we see concrete examples of how sound was used in psalms, the blowing of the horns, when you reference the wall of Jericho, in chants. And it's been used across all different types of faith. And what it's used for is to create states of reverence and spiritual healing. Now, many people will say that a lot of the instruments used or the practice of sound is New Age. And really, what I'm hoping to share with you guys is that that's just not so. Now, there are some instruments that have been developed, like maybe in the 70s or 80s, that are used now, frosted crystal bowls, that are newer. But drums, gongs, horns, tuning forks, these are ancient instruments that have been used for over thousands of years that are just region specific, right? So they have ancient roots with sound and energy, but now we are beginning to see how science is catching back up with what our ancestors used to help promote well-being emotionally, mentally, and physically. So if you ever hear someone say that it's tied to a religion, no, it is not. If you ever hear someone say it's New Age, it truly isn't. And now you have examples of why that is not true. So very happy to see that. And if you guys that are of the Christian faith, look through your Bibles and see how music, sound, and psalms were used to help bring people back into emotional well-being. Now, sound therapy, I want us to have a clear definition while we're together. So, to keep it very simple, sound healing is just the beautiful practice of using vibrations and frequencies to bring the body back into harmony. You see, we're all born with a signature frequency. And because life gets to lifing, and we're not diligent enough to clear out that stress or that negative energy, we become off balance. And it begins to show up in ways emotionally, sometimes physical disorders, and sometimes it's just you just feel so disconnected from yourself. So in my practice, I use singing bowls, I use Tibetan Himalayan bowls, I use gongs, tuning forks, drums, so many different varieties of instruments. Sometimes alone, a specific instrument, or I'll use them together. You might hear the term sound healing, sound bath, sound therapy, sound journey, sound meditation. Many of those different names are really describing the same thing, but it just boils down to how the practitioner wants to market their services. So we're using instruments to bring the body and the mind and the spirit back to a state of harmony, back to your signature frequency. Now, energy therapy, that term is evolving even as we speak. Now we're using the language and the lingo of the biofield. And so you want to make sure that you release the blockages that are inside the body at a cellular level. And so we use techniques like Reiki to help channel that energy out of the body. Most practitioners use conscious breath work. I use vibrational sound bowls to place on the body intentionally and strategically to see where the blockages are in your body and to help to move that energy out. It's as if your nervous system is getting a massage. And most people, especially individuals that have touch sensitivities, I don't touch the body at all, but the instruments are gently placed on the body to help move that stagnant energy out. And this helps to release the stored and the trapped trauma that lives inside the body. And it restores your body back to a natural energy flow. So what I call my vibrational Reiki, I use the bowls, other instruments, to help bring you back to your core signature frequency. And it's very gentle, it's very soothing, and it's incredibly relaxing. Now, I want to give you a little science behind the practice of sound and energy. So, our goal is to have stress reduction, and that is going to help you on a physiological level. You're going to lower cortisol levels, and then create this calm and supportive recovery process within your body. We're going to help with your heart rate variability, and it's just a way of saying that it's going to increase your body's ability to adapt to stress and recover quickly. This is the resiliency that I share and teach about in my practice. The vagus nerve stimulation, that beautiful vagus nerve that goes all throughout the body, how it wanders around. It's the super highway of your rest and digest. It's an incredible nerve that really helps to bring peace and calm throughout the entire biofield, the entire body. And one of the beautiful things that I love about this practice is the craving reduction. I can't tell you how in my own life, on my own journey, it helps to calm the nervous system so well that as it regulates that stress hormone, it creates a state of safety in the body. This is important and critical because it disrupts the urge cycle. Now, for me personally, as I am consistent in practicing with my own sound just for my own well-being, it stops that habit of saying, okay, here's a stimulus that has triggered me. Let me go, let's say, for example, run to the refrigerator to go eat. It gives me the ability to pause and ask myself, do I really want that? Or can I regulate my own emotions without having to do that? And sound and the instruments that I use help to do that, to soothe me back to homeostasis or a state of calm. Now, when I think of how sound and energy has its place in the recovery process, I see it as an ecosystem because there are so many beautiful factors involved, and I want to show us all how they can come together harmoniously. So we all know that recovery is more than treatment, right? So there's the individual that could be in active use, there's detox and treatment, there's recovery and maintenance, then there's the family and loved ones that support the individual, and then the professionals that help individuals find their way back to themselves. So in this ecosystem, I want to take it step by step and show you just how specifically each phase of that ecosystem can be benefit. So for individuals that may be in active substance use, how sound helps them is it helps to regulate the nervous system. This is critical. Internal states of agitation and chaos, difficulty accessing conventional treatment, somebody that's having difficulty getting into treatment or accessing treatment, the overwhelming cravings and emotional distress. So we're just going on the basic assumption that this is the challenge this individual is struggling with. How the sound and energy works to help them through this phase, drumming. We are finding that drumming is a powerful tool to help this individual better navigate all the challenges that we just listed. Humming, using your voice. As a sound practitioner, I sincerely believe that your voice is the most powerful instrument ever created. And when you use that to self-soothe, to help regulate, it has beautiful implications, and the efficacy of that is just amazing. And also, it's a nonverbal intervention. And sometimes, how many of us have been with people that just don't want to talk? They don't feel like explaining their feelings or wanting to share what's going on with them. Using sound and energy therapeutic techniques help to bypass this resistance, and it creates more safety, not only within the person's being, but between the practitioner and the client. So it helps to better regulate this person even when everything around them and within them feels so out of sorts and chaotic. Now, let's say this individual has now found their way into a detox program or a treatment program. Now, allow me to preface by saying I'm not speaking about medical detox right now. What I'm talking about is an individual that is detoxing in an early treatment phase, okay? So they are experiencing this acute withdrawal symptom. They're having physical distress that's very obvious. They've shared with the intake department that they are having severe insomnia and sleep disruption. The anxiety is off the charts, and their emotional volatility is just unbearable. And they are genuinely struggling to engage in talk therapy. So where sound helps is it creates that immediate calming. It gives that person the ability to just breathe, right? And speaking of which, breath work, helping them, teaching them to better manage their physical withdrawal symptoms with breath work. Again, this nonverbal approach helps to lower barriers to receiving and being open to treatment and getting the help that they need. It just promotes better safety as their body is calming down, so is their resistance to everything. And they are better able to be present with what the staff members are trying to help them to accomplish. So from day one in the detox, you're teaching them self-regulation tools. Now, people that are past the recovery, past the treatment phase, and they've done well, and now they are moving into their recovery maintenance phase. Now, some of the challenges that we all know that when you are ready to get into that big bright world, you've learned your tools, life will happen. So now there's the risk of recurrence because stress hits us all. I don't care who you are. And emotional triggers hit us. And our nervous systems, again, will just become out or dysregulated, right? And because we now learn that we have to maintain processing these emotions as they come, if we slip up and we don't stay diligent and consistent about processing our emotions, it can wreak havoc. So the beauty about sound is that it can be a long-term solution. The vibrational sound sessions that I hold with my clients really helps to move that out quickly. The singing bowls, you can use these at home. When you're stressed, you can go over to your bowls and just make them sing until you're ready and you feel like you're done. Breathwork techniques can be used anywhere, no matter where you are. So these things are just about learning them. And how wonderful would it be if they can learn these things as they are in treatment? And the beauty of all of this is that I am a big believer in the power of community, safe community. Group sound baths, sound healings, they foster that connection to community. As they grow individually, they are being connected to a wider group that understands what they're going through, how they are helping themselves to heal, and it just fosters more resiliency and more safety and connection. Now, for loved ones, I'm especially excited about this part of the ecosystem because many of us have all been there. Even if we're not the ones that are struggling with substance use, we know and love someone that has. And the challenges that loved ones and family members face is it's the secondary trauma from witnessing what that individual is going through and the chronic stress that impacts their body and their relationships, the emotional burnout and compassion fatigue, and then any subsequent strained relationships, not only with that individual that is struggling with substance use, but any strained relationships that are caused because of that person's substance use. So the approach that I use with family members and loved ones is that having sound sessions, either with the family individually or as a collective group, again, where it's all about helping the nervous system to find rest and to reset, to find safety, to help each individual better connect with themselves. And again, this is done through breath work and my vibrational Reiki technique, because the vibrational Reiki technique that I have is so amazing because it's quick. It doesn't take months, it doesn't take weeks or days. One 45-minute session will help to release this stored tension and grief that the family members and loved ones share. And it's teaching them, it's reminding them how coming together and being of support, not only for the person that they love that's struggling with substance use, but to do that for one another as a unit. It helps to rebuild connection and trust. Now, the last part of this ecosystem that I'm just excited to talk about is the professionals. My dear professionals that work in substance use recovery and that are helping people. Now, here's a fun fact. Did you know that 15 to 20% of the population are labeled highly sensitive people? And that just means they're deeply empathic and intuitive. Now, up to 20%, 74% of those individuals are counselors and psychotherapists. And they said that their own wounds influenced their career choice. Now, you may ask, Shanita, why is that significant? Because if you are a counselor, a psychotherapist, and you are in the helping field, your empathy can experience higher rates of burnout. Remember earlier when I said that despite having all the tools and skills, I still had sleepless nights. My stress and anxiety was through the roof. It's because in my body, I was holding all of that stress and I didn't have a safe place to put it. The experience I had was so profound. The sound healing experience was so integral because it gave me a safe place to quickly release and remove all of that stored and trapped energy, trauma from my own body. The energy work released the accumulated stress over time, every day, hearing this or experiencing that. The empath in me was being able to be restored and helped and healed in real time. And self-care tools helped me to prevent compassion fatigue. It allowed me to show back up at work, to be present, and to be able to sit with that client and with whatever was going on with them without having to constantly push back all the stress and secondhand trauma that I was dealing with when I'm working with individuals. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of this presentation because I want to show you in real time just how enhancing therapeutic talk is with sound. So here are just two of the client testimonials that they gave me permission to share. So the first client said, the sound session before therapy made me calmer and more present. I could finally focus on what we were discussing instead of feeling anxious. Now, as a former therapist, that is just golden. Every therapist that I know of wants their client to be present in a state of calm and ready to do their work. That is priceless. Usually, you'd spend a few moments trying to calm the anxiety down, to talk and help get them into a safer and calmer place. Sound can do that before they even step into your session. And the second testimonial is, after months of therapy hitting walls, adding sound work helped me to actually feel the emotions we talked about. It was like unlocking a door. That is tremendous that this person was able to connect what they were feeling to what was going on with them. And the other benefit that we talked about earlier, it bypassed the verbal portion. They were able to just be and express without the anxiety of having to speak everything that was going on with them. So I know, based on what they've shared with me about their traditional talk therapy experience, is that it enhanced their time with their therapist. Now here are the benefits of integrating sound and energy work. It primes the nervous system for deeper therapeutic work. It helps clients tolerate difficult emotions during processing. It provides sensory grounding for trauma-focused therapy. It creates embodied experience of concepts discussed verbally. And it enhances retention of insights gained in therapy. This is wonderful. It is amazing. Now, one of the things I want to share and make clear, sound does not replace therapy. It prepares the nervous system to receive it. So I love teaching therapists how to integrate these holistic practices into their traditional talk therapy. And in return, therapists feel safe with me to refer their clients to receive sound services, knowing that I'm not here to poach your clients, I'm not here to do therapy. I'm here to help prepare your experience with your client and your client experience with you. And it just creates more meaningful and satisfying work. So this is why I'm excited to be the bridge between traditional talk therapy and holistic services. I've seen it firsthand, just how amazing it can be and how wonderful of an add-on it can be, not only in treatment services, but also in outpatient services. Now, I also want to share with you some more perspectives. So, I've said before in this presentation that creating safety in the body is very important. Now, healing is not only about stopping the substance use, it's more importantly about creating safety where the body can relax. We want the body to relax and to finally feel as if it's safe. Once it feels safe, now we can go to the connection part. Because we all know that recovery is fundamentally about connection. And sound helps us connect back to ourselves. And then it gives us the opportunity to connect to others and to something much greater. Supporting the supporters. I can't say this enough. I've lived this. I'm in recovery in my own personal life from this. Healers, family members, and especially professionals. We all need healing too. We pour so much into other people. It must be as important to you to take care of yourself as you are to other people. So, sustainable recovery requires a supported ecosystem. So this is the part of the presentation where I want to share with you that science really is growing, and it's coming to catch up with what our ancestors knew many thousands of years ago. We are seeing studies that are being done with help with pain reduction, um, tension and anger, fatigue, physiological changes, helping to improve blood pressure and other types of physiological responses. And the literature is just growing more and more. So I'm excited to see that. The language is even changing in this industry. And I'm just so excited to see how non-invasive or how this type of therapy is helping in real time. You don't have to spend weeks, months, years to see results. Working with me, you really should be able to see results within a 45-minute session. That is always my goal. So before we get to dealing with this next slide, I want to just take a minute and talk to us all about real world examples of how sound can help you. So I have a wind chime here, and I just want you to place your feet gently on the ground and allow yourself to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And just take time to listen to this wind chime and take one deep, intentional breath and exhale. So here we go. Now imagine if you had an instrument of your choice, of your choosing, and you could take less than a minute to just allow yourself to take a deep, calming, and relaxing breath. It's a very quick but impactful reset. And again, when our lives are so busy and we're running from one place to another, being mindful to just stop and take a moment, 1 minute, to help your mind and your body reset. It's a very powerful and priceless thing. Now, it's taken years of work for me to develop this Future Focused Coaching and Wellness program. And I call this program the Sound of Resilience. And this program is all about helping individuals or groups have sound baths with teams or with families. I integrate practical coaching skills for burnout, for resiliency, and then to help you find practical ways that you can do that are easy to incorporate, that'll help you remain consistent in doing this. Take-home tools for continued use and ways to measure the efficacy of this in real time. And I also love training recovery professionals on how to implement this so that when they are meeting with their clients and their clients are coming to them all frazzled, they can use the gift of sound to help bring them back into a state of calm and to regulate their nervous systems in a very nice and soothing way. And what I've found over the last year or two is engagement in this. It's not experiential, but it's not only theoretical, but it is also experiential. It helps to restore rather than deplete. And you get to build practical skills for immediate use. And you can adapt this program to any various setting. This ecosystem has truly been built with the Sound of Resilience in mind. And the Sound of Resilience program really helps at any stage of the person's recovery process. And the piece of resistance is that this is great for helping the professionals, helping in the workplace environment, to create a workplace culture of calm. Imagine that when professionals have just had a heavy call or an intense meeting, they can go to a room where they have instruments at their disposal to help them to breathe deeper and just to reset and recenter so that they can get back to the business of helping people. I think that's a very powerful shift that I professionally will love to see happen more and more, not only just everywhere across the board. So, closing the gap in recovery, our approach includes science and soul to address these gaps. For individuals at any stage of the recovery journey, to active, when they're in active recovery, and they can use this as a long-term solution. For families navigating the challenges of loving someone in recovery. And then for workplace and recovery professionals, sound and energy therapy is wonderful for this. And again, here are the NIH scientific references. If you would like me to send them to you, please feel free to email me and reach out, and I will be happy to send those to you. And I'm just excited about the continuing of researching just how powerful sound and energy is for PTSD, for anxiety, for depression, for certain forms of pain management. The sky is unlimited right now, and it makes me so happy to be a part of this emerging technology. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, I hope you will feel free to reach out to me and let me know how this presentation opened up your mind so that you can see how sound and energy can be incorporated not only at your workplace but with your clients, but how it can benefit you personally, right? So please feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at Shenita, SHENITA, at IamFutureFocus.com. That's Shenita at IamFutureFocus.com. Or you can go to my website at www.IamFutureFocus.com. And please feel free to follow me on my socials. I have a Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. It is my joy to share the beautiful practice of sound and energy healing. I hope that this closed the gap on better understanding and giving you just some wonderful ideas of how you can now take this information and put it and implement it into your own lives. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for sharing your good time and energy with me. And if you have any questions, I'm looking forward to talking with you about it and sharing more. I hope you have an incredible day and happy National Recovery Month. I love us all for real. Bye, everybody.